guys switch as much as anybody. Obviously, they have two of the best isolation scorers in the world. What are the concerns there for you guys, and in what ways do you need to be sharp for when you've got Al Horford, Daniel Tice out on the perimeter to be better against Kyrie and Durant in those moments?
Yeah, I mean, it's a contrast of two things that two teams do extremely well. And so, with us, we rely on our one-on-one defense kind of as our base, and, we believe in our defenders, not just individually, but as a team. And so there are layers to it. You can counter before and after the switch happens, or just rely on your guys who have done an excellent job all year. But to your point, they have two of the best, and that's what they do. They're an ISO-heavy team, looking for cross matches or mismatches. And, the one thing we feel about our team is we don't have a lot of guys you can pick on. And so across the board, we feel confident with that. But at the same time, they're really good at it. So it'll be a battle of that strategy.
You just talked about the Nets offense, but you guys are playing at a pretty high level offensively too. You talk about different ways you want to attack Brooklyn on that end of the floor. What kind of things are you thinking, you can do to, score a bunch of points against this team?
Yeah, use our versatility. We have obviously two really high level scorers ourselves, but a team that has worked well and grown throughout this season. So some of the areas where that could really help us defensively would be our offense to start with, taking great shots, keeping them out of transition and making them work on that end. So the areas we've really improved on, obviously, are versatility, as I mentioned, but ball movement, sharing the ball, assist numbers going up, and then making them work on that end. And so it goes both ways, where we can make them guard, take some energy off that end, but also helps us out defensively by not turning the ball over, taking great shots that don't lead to often or to transition baskets for them. So, with their lineups that they're starting, they're playing much smaller at times with Mills and Curry, Irving, Dragic, and those guys out there sometimes. And there's some advantageous positions for us with our size and versatility. So things you can attack there. But they do have some competitive guys. Kyrie, I was obviously with them last year. Durant as well. Those guys have pride in these matchups. A lot of history here. So they'll be amped up for those matchups.
You mentioned, the way Bruce Brown's hurting some teams and drop, that short roll thing that he's doing there. What kind of defense do you think you're going to end up deploying a lot of the time to, slow them down?
Well, it depends what we want to, take away. And obviously Irving and Durant are the focal points there, but he impacts the game similar to what Draymond Green does when guys are keyed on Curry and Thompson. So we can go to some simple things as switching and taking away his roles. That's an easy one there. But matchup wise, we'll figure out what we like best as far as who we want to start on him and take some of those things away, because he is a huge spark for that team. I think the energy he brings and kind of being the wild card X factor for them, besides the shooters and the rebounders, we can take that away if we'd like to.
You guys made a few subtle roster tweaks over the season to take away a lot of those moments where there's a guy you can pick on. You're saying you have guys you can pick on defensively. So how crucial was that to the way the team improved throughout the year? And how important is that now when you're in a matchup in the playoffs when teams do that, especially against a team that really wants to do that?
Yeah, I think it's big across the board that we feel confident and comfortable with anybody we have out there that they can guard. Peyton, we talk about Peyton at times, and for me, that's really just a size disadvantage. It's not anything to do with his toughness or mentality, and he loves to get after guys just as much as anybody else. And so certain guys fit better. Obviously bringing Derek in, who brings in another long guard wing with the versatility that he has, Daniel as well, that can switch on, off the ball, do some of the things that Al does well, and Rob. So the complementary pieces have been great additions for us. And that's where we become a really good defensive team, is that we don't have a lot of weaknesses there, and we're comfortable with all those guys guarding.
The first couple of games of the series are obviously very spaced out. Will that change at all just your approach for the rotation and just minutes in general? With the caveat, obviously, you guys haven't played in a long time, you have plenty of rest going in, but you're obviously going to up minutes regardless. But will that let you go even further with it, or is that a kind of tough thing for you to balance there?
No, I don't think it's hard to balance. We've shortened our rotations in time this year, and with Jason playing in 37 range, and Jalen around 33. I think their spike won't be anything that really affects those guys. It's a matter of what we want to do with Al, Daniel, Grant, and those guys with Rob being out. But the added days are beneficial for us rest-wise. Obviously rotations get shorter, minutes go up in the playoffs, and they're going to have their best guys on the court majority of the time as well as they already have in those playing games and some late season situations. They're playing their guys high into the 40s. So we want to have our best players out there as well. And I think we've done a good job coping with, mixing in rest, but also keeping guys ready to go those long stretches. And these days off will be very beneficial in between.
Ime, do you talk to Jason and Jalen about kind of the matchup with not one-on-one, but your two best players against their two best players? Obviously, Irving and Durant are, future Hall of Famers, great scorers, but matching that and not trying to do too much, but also stepping up to the moment of you sort of have to match them.
Yeah, I don't think we get specific into the, one-on-one battle or two-on-two with those guys. It's more so we understand what we need from those guys in the playoff series, and I think we've addressed that early in the season, taking on the challenges on a night-to-night basis. And so Jason already relishes that, Jalen as well. And I think when you have these two high-level scorers, for us, obviously, it's high. We're going to have to defend those guys as a team individually as well, but how can we hurt them on the other end and make them guard? And I think that's the benefit of us having two guys that can really get baskets on their own, put the pressure back on them on that end, but nothing said individually about a specific matchup, but that's already known. Like I said, Jason's a high-level competitor, and he takes pride in those matchups, as you saw in the last time we played them.
Have you ever seen a guy or looked at his eyes and said to yourself, he's not ready for this? I'm not saying you have to get specific on what it is. And how do you, motivate or get guys? Because you said Jason and Jason both relish this. It's a challenge for them, but not every player is like that. How do you kind of get that out of them?
Yeah, I mean, are you talking about our team or other teams?
Your past experience.
No, yeah. I think for the most part, if you have a concern, it's with a younger guy that hasn't been here before. Our guys are pretty seasoned as far as that. Derek has come over from, a winning situation going into playoffs every year, and our guys have all been to Eastern Conference Finals multiple times. And so, although they're young, they've been in a lot of these situations, and pretty much since high school and college, they've been in tough, high-level, high-stressful situations. So, not really worried about our guys not being ready. They've all been there and been there together in the past, so I think that bodes well for us going forward.
How much time, if any, are you spending on the possibility of Ben Simmons entering this series?
None yet.
First of all, I know you went over it on Sunday, but what has been the practice schedule? Did you guys go hard yesterday, today? What have you guys been doing, and what is the plan going forward? Today was a hard day. We got a good amount of scrimmaging in. Not only ourselves, but duplicating some of their plays. We got a scout team out there running the Brooklyn sets. Yesterday was more light. Tomorrow will be off, and then we'll pick up Saturday with the medium session / shoot around to kind of go over what we have the first day. So we've had 3-4 days already to kind of implement what they're going to do play wise, and then digging into the personnel, which we kind of hit every day. So a lot is to do with these guys. It's not the most difficult thing. They want to find a matchup they like and isolate there. So that's nothing tricky as far as that. But there are some sets that they've heard us and other teams with, and we want to take them out of those. And then the focus starts to become more about us than anything, and areas we can attack them and continue to do what we've done over the last 2 months. And then we spoke earlier this season. You had a conversation with Jason about not taking a backseat to any superstar. Is that something that you reiterate now that he is facing Kevin and a guy who we won a gold medal with over the summer and has idolized and talked about that?
No, I don't think I have to bring it up again. He's taken that message to heart and obviously played at an extremely high level for the, even when we were struggling at the start of the season, he was still playing the way he has. And, you don't have to look much further than the 50-point game that he had against them and knowing the matchups coming. So nothing I need to talk to him about anymore.
Hey, man. When you say Rob is doing touch drills, what does that mean exactly?
Touch drills?
Yeah.
I don't know if I said that.
Well, you said he was getting, more touches and stuff? Is he starting to ramp up a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, he's getting on court, basketball drills, and so mixing in pretty much everything. I don't know what touch specifically means. I'm not sure if I said that on accident, but he's getting on the court, not contact, but any basketball drill, getting a lot of shots up, obviously weight bearing, strengthening, agility, and anything like that. So it's low level, but he's ramping it up day by day a little bit more and feeling good about it.
And you were there when Derek and Patty Mills got to know each other. I'm just wondering what role Patty played in Derek's development, and just do you see similarities between the two, just in the way they think the game?
I would say different players for sure. Patty's a natural scorer, and Derek does a little bit of everything. Obviously, crossing paths. I think the thing that Patty did so well in San Antonio was kind of bridge the gap culturally when the veterans retired. Patty was a huge piece of keeping that component in place, and so he was great. He welcomed Derek as well as all the young guys, and kind of kept together what Manu, Tim, Tony, and those guys had before. But Derek and Patty to me are extremely different players. As far as Patty is what we call, I'm not going to say Pop's term, but a scorer, and Derek is much more well-rounded, I'd say. Does a lot of different things with his size and versatility, but both very valuable to both franchises.
We have one Zoom question, Coach, from John Corrales.
Hey, mate. So much of this series is going to be mental. I mean, you're preparing for everything, but this kind of falls under the Mike Tyson quote, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. That with Kevin Durant, they're going to punch you in the mouth. How do you stick to your plan? How do you get these guys to stick to the plan when Brooklyn is making their runs?
Understand who they are and who we are. They have two extremely high level scorers that have seen everything and have seen every coverage, every scheme, and still do it at a high level. So you got to understand they're going to make tough shots. They're going to go on runs, and more so it's continuing to do what we've done all year, understanding how we can attack them, the type of shots we want to give up, and the amount of work we want to make them have. It's not just the easy ones, and that's why I said they're going to isolate a lot and make some tough shots, but it's the easy looks that they get, and the ones they get for Curry, Mills, second chance points by Drummond and Claxton, and then Bruce Brown's energy. So it's the other things you could take away because they're going to make enough tough shots. And more so than that, I would say our mentality is, I guess, punch first, and we want to affect them and not make it easy on them. And so that's how we're going into it, looking at what we've done well this year and continuing that.
Anything extra on the line between you and Patty? I know how close you guys are.
No, I haven't talked to anybody over there at all.
Thank you, Coach. Wrap it up right there. Thank you.
Thank you.